Hello and welcome to this week's Out of Cast, your program completely in English to improve your knowledge about cinema. I'm Helga the Bluehead, and today I'm with someone who has been to outer space, to jungles, deserts, deep woods, and ancient temples, exploring the world with mysterious adventures. Here's Julio, aka Mr. Sunglasses.
Hi everybody.
Where you been, man?
I am the doctor. I can go anywhere in time and space. So yes, I've been through jungle, ocean. You said it.
And traveling in time also. I
No,
suppose.
I'm still working on that.
Oh, okay.
I'm returned, but you know who also returned? The man who gave me inspiration for Beard and Glasses. Jeff Lynne released a new album.
Oh,
Yes, so we came back. Okay.
Very good to have you here. Very, very good to have you.
We are here with a very special episode of Out of Cast.
Yep.
Since we are speaking about musician, today's episode is all about movies inspired or based on figure inside the music world.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Exactly. So, but before heading into those stuff, let's get to our socials. Will you please get into our socials and tell our audience?
Okay, you can find us on Facebook by writing Roma 3 Radio with the 3 written as letters, as well as on Twitter. You can also find us on Instagram, writing Roma 3 Radio with the 3 as a number this time. You are doing it, so we shouldn't tell you that. You
Yeah.
can listen in streaming on the website radio.uniroma3.it, or otherwise on the app TuneIn Radio by writing Roma 3 Radio with the 3 as a number.
If you missed our program, our live program, you also will find our podcasts on the same website.
Of course,
So,
and our on Mixcloud as well.
Yeah, sure. So without any further ado, let's go to a bit of a pause and then we'll be back very soon.
It is about the life and death of the legendary Ludwig van Beethoven. Besides all the work he is known for, the composer,
Yeah, sure.
the composer once wrote a famous love letter to a nameless beloved, and the movie tries to find out who this beloved one was. Not easy to find, of course, as Beethoven has had many women in his life. The title role is played by Gary Oldman, ladies and gentlemen, and her co-star, or maybe beloved in the movie, is Isabella Rossellini. Directed by Bernard Rose, this movie has a peculiar feeling to it. It tries to be romantic, yet also there's a bit of lack of warmth to it. The movie also tries to showcase other aspects of life and career of the great musician, which in whole is a lot try to explain and explore. However, sorry, I had to.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry. However, what we are pretty sure of is that you can see the charisma Oldman is bringing to the role.
I mean, look, he is a charismatic actor after all. I mean, do you agree with me?
Yeah, definitely. There's just one movie I don't like it. It is the second Hannibal one.
Oh, got it. So,
Sorry.
okay, Emerson Movies in 2011 publication wrote Oldman's performance is unimpeachable. He dives deep into the role with powerful passion and makes the audience feel the pain of the genius as he loses his hearing and fails to shape his nephew into a similarly talented musician. In the year of Forrest Gump, Oldman was overlooked for a well-deserved Oscar nomination. Immortal Beloved was clearly a work that came from heart and soul by creators and crew, but at times fails to deliver the message. Beethoven writes to Schindler at one point, arguing it is the power of music to carry one directly into the mental state of the composer. The listener has no choice. It is like hypnotism. Now, on Rotten Tomatoes, critics and audience are not on the same page. While critics has gave it about 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, actually, audience thought it was very much better and gave it 87%.
is the production designer behind Disney's Hercules.
Wow.
So he is the one behind the famous marching hammers sequence. Just like the album, which we have here in the studio.
Yeah, if you go watch my video, watch the video on my YouTube channel, you can see that he has brought the
vinyl,
yes.
the vinyl of the wall.
This is interesting.
Just like the album, the movie is highly metaphorical and features many lectures. For example, the damaging lack of communication between two people, the autobiographic aspect of Roger Waters' life. The movie was presented at the Cannes Festival out of competition and received mixed reviews, but it was later revalued with positive reviews and becoming a cult movie. As a matter of fact, on Rotten Tomatoes it holds a 68% on critics score and 89% on audience score. The director Alan Parker would tell years later about the preview that the Warner Bros. Then head chief Terry Simmel and Steven Spielberg were debating. When the light turned on, Spielberg turned to him and asked, "What the F was that?"
Oh my God!
While Simmel bowed down to Alan Parker. Yes, Alan Parker added it was definitely something never seen before, and Delia was telling me before that she wanted to watch the movie, but it was a bit, what was it? What is that?
Dear.
And now, let's dive into the direct hit from the album.
What?
Dr. Wood,
Ross Tyler! Why you do this to the fandom?
Except
How
that
can
he never says I. All he says is Rossala, and he vanished.
And the fandom is like,
fuck you! You! Yes! You're behind the French desk! Stand still, nothing!
You scared me.
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
What the F is going on? Gentlemen, we just said a bad word on Roma Radio Live.
Oh, come on, it's in Europe, we're not in the US. It's in the US that they're censoring
Curses,
this.
I forgot we were on air.
In Europe, it's okay. It's fine, we're fine.
Moving on. Now.
Moving on to 2007 with La Vie en Rose.
La vie est rose.
Yeah.
Madame et monsieur, la vie est rose.
So, many stars have a tragic life, and it's not just the ending that makes it tragic, but it's also what leads to that tragic ending, which is the harsh years of their career. La Vie en Rose is no exception. It tells the tragic life of Edith Piaf. Starting from her childhood, performing in the streets to her teenage and young adulthood years, still performing in the streets with her friend until one day, Louis Lopley, played by the amazing Gérard Depardieu.
Gérard Depardieu.
Yeah. A French club owner discovers her and her bright talent, and of course, it's a roller coaster after that. A roller coaster through life, fame, love, loss, depression, and not to miss one of the most important things here, alcohol. And at the end, dying because of liver cancer following years of alcohol abuse at the age of 47.
Oh, but don't tell me. Is that because of his alcohol abuse?
Yes.
I couldn't figure it out. Wow.
Common knowledge.
Common knowledge. It's that or either the drugs abuse, so okay.
Yeah.
No one could play the role better than Marion Cotillard.
No, Cotillard.
Cotillard. Cotillard. I mean, it's at this point impossible to imagine someone other than her playing this iconic role. It was always meant for her. While watching the movie, you don't feel as if there's an actor playing the role of Piaf, but you feel that Piaf has come back to life and is doing the role herself.
Bravo. I mean, right?
Bravo, Marion, bravo.
Bravo.
Therefore, it's no surprise to tell you that Cotillard's performance earned her several accolades, including the Academy Award for Best Actress, marking the first time an Oscar had been given to a French language role, and the BAFTA Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role, the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, Motion Picture Musical or Comedy, and the César Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role for her performance.
Too much French in one block.
Yes, exactly. The camera work, cinematography, and lighting is absolutely remarkable. It makes some astonishing scenes that you won't forget. Directed by Oliver Dunn. Dunn! It's Forrest Gump.
No, Oliver. Oh, yeah. Okay.
This movie gained both audience and critics' appreciation and attention. It also won the Best Makeup at Academy Award and the BAFTA Awards for Best Makeup, Costume Design, and Film Music.
Now, the movie also did quite well at the worldwide box office, earning.
Earning, it's the French aura that's
yes, as I said before, too much French in one block.
Earning.
Earning $86.3 million on the budget of $25 million. Now, on Rotten Tomatoes, at the site of critics, which is Tomato Meter, it has got 74%, but the audience loved it so much and gave it 84%, which is really awesome.
Return to la musique. Odinson. Surtur, you son of a bitch!
My favorite song of all time.
I recall there was a trailer for a video game, and there was this scene in which there was an army of monsters coming towards the main characters, and one of them asked, "Some music? Let's make a classic one," and it starts Immigrant Song while they're shooting all the monsters. It was cool. It was cool.
They also used it heavily in Thor Ragnarok. I just mentioned it because I know you love that movie so much.
The Devil's Anus! The Devil's Anus! No, come here. Sì, the Devil's Anus.
Coming out the same year as La Vie en Rose comes Control, but in another European country, which it was released in England. Yeah.
Curses. I forgot it was released in England. Today is an episode about accents, all of a sudden.
Starring Sam.
No.
Yeah,
you
what?
have to read it right. Starring. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
Sam Riley as Ian Curtis, Samantha Norton as Debbie Curtis, Alexandra Maria Lara as Anik. English and Italian mixed up. Okay, Anik Honor, Joe Anderson as Hookie, and James Anthony Pearson as Bernard Summer. Control is a crude yet retelling story of Ian Curtis's life. For those who don't know about Ian Curtis, let me introduce him to you. Ian Kevin Curtis was the lead singer and lyricist for the British band Joy Division, who would later influence bands like U2, The Cure, and later on Radiohead. Now, just like most young stars between the 70s and the 80s, he lived fast but also died very young, unfortunately.
Even though his songwriting was filled with imagery of desolation, emptiness, alienation, and everybody knew about his stress epilepsy attacks, nobody would ever expect him to kill himself at the beginning of the band's first international tour. He was only 23 years old.
That's tragic, you know.
Yes.
I mean, I just can't get this artist. It's a tough life.
Yeah, also, well, there were many young musicians who died prematurely. One that comes to mind is also Sid Vicious, which he died very, very young as well.
Younger than
Well,
Ian Curtis?
I don't recall the exact age now, but if I remember correctly, he was too in his 20s.
Yeah, I also watched in Rome Film Festival. I watched a documentary about Nick Drake. When he died, he was also 26.
Well, Jimi Hendrix, he was 27.
Amy Winehouse, 27.
Amy Winehouse, 27. Well, what's that with 27?
I don't know what is it with 20.
I have still 2 years to come to 27. Now I must worry.
Oh my god, the same. I have 2 years.
Should we worry about something? Should we make testaments of a sort?
Oh dear God! Don't go there, please.
No. Miriana yesterday asked me to leave her the wall if I died earlier. No. Okay, but now moving on. Control is directed by Anton Corbijn, based on the screenplay by Matt Greenhale, under the supervision of Deborah Curtis, Ian Curtis' daughter. The movie is also definitely a unique work of art thanks to its evocative B&N cinematography and the great performances by Sam Riley and Samantha Norton. On Rotten Tomatoes, people seem to agree with us, granting Control an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes and 89% on the audience score.
Which is really good. Okay, coming back, we were just in while the music was on and you were listening to the music, we were talking about about alcohol and the use of alcohol and the drug scenes in the movies and TVs, and I just told Julio to rewatch the second episode of the third season of Sherlock, the Stag Night. I mean, when the night
Benedict
before.
Cumberbatch drunk. I forgot about that scene because I watched Sherlock 5 years ago. Already 5 years? Oh my god!
Oh my god!
And I kind of forgot about that scene because the third season I watched it with a bit less interest than the two previous.
Well, actually, my favorite season is the third season. Then comes the second, but the fourth is unfortunately the least interesting.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I'm a huge Sherlock fan. You have.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm doing my thesis on Sherlock, so you know.
You know whose fault that is, don't you, Moffat?
Moffat. I have caught cold, really, to be honest. Not getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get into talk about another. This one is a great one.
Yeah, definitely.
This is
a masterpiece.
This is a masterpiece. This is a mad period. I want to talk about Amadeus, coming out in 1984, based on the stage play by the same name created by Peter Shaffer. Amadeus is a 1984 movie directed by Milos Forman, and it's fictionalized biography of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart set in Vienna. It tells the rivalry between Mozart, played by Tom Hulce, and Italian composer Antonio Salieri, played by F. Mary Abraham, who kept in a mental asylum for trying to kill himself, recalls all the story about the two of them. All his life he lived in Amadeus's shadow, who stole the scene with his outstanding talent and composition despite his obscene, immature manners. No matter how hard Salieri tried, Mozart always shined at the eyes of aristocrats. This rivalry would last until the last days of Mozart's life, in which Salieri supports him in finishing his unfinished Requiem. For the role of Mozart, a couple of well-known faces were considered, including Kenneth Branagh, for example, but he was dropped when it was decided to utilize an American cast.
Since we are talking about a movie set in German, I am studying German. I will try to make a German accent.
My God! Another accent.
Okay. Mark Hamill himself was another pick. Just enough. No. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker was another choice for Amadeus' role. He already played Mozart in the very same stage play during the last days of the tour, replacing Tim Curry, although the director decided not to cast him because of his association with Luke Skywalker, thinking that the audience would not believe him as the composer. What the actual hell? The An actor
Yeah.
is supposed to make different role. That is his job.
Yes.
You can't start thinking something
Okay.
like that. Okay,
Come
sorry,
on.
sorry, but as an actor, I'm a bit frustrated by that.
Calm down.
Although the story is set in Vienna, the film was shot in Prague and Comares. There is a director's cut of Amadeus, including nearly 20 minutes of restored footage, not used in the 1984 movie premiere. The director's cut was released in 2002, making a 3-hour movie. The director, Foreman, explained that it was a decision made by the major, not wanting to push the audience patience too far and not knowing if the movie would have succeeded or flopped, recalling that no studio wanted to finance the movie. Amadeus is considered one of the best movies of all time, of course, being nominated for 53 awards and winning 40 of them, including Best Actor in Leading Role for F. Murray Abraham, Best Director and Best Picture at the Academy Awards. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a 93% score based on 90th review.
So, do you also want to talk about Judy? Or since I've reviewed it, because normally when I review something at that I've watched in the theaters, I review and Eleonora intervenes.
Okay.
What do you want? What do you rather do? Do you want to talk a paragraph or two, or you want to do like?
If you this is. You should do it because you have seen this movie and you should review it.
But you can start it with the story because this is just a
okay.
story. It's nothing really special.
Fine,
so
then.
you can start this. Yeah, you can. You hit start and I'll take the rest.
Okay. One of the maybe youngest actors and singers to start was maybe Judy Garland. She started with the Magical Wonderful Oz, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Sorry.
Yes, that classic one that everyone has seen. If not the whole movie, of course, some very
the
short
book.
parts of the movie.
Yes, of course.
The very iconic movie.
I read also the book in English because I was here in Rome, and in the Feltrinelli's there is a section with every book in English, and there was the Wizard of Oz. I said, okay, I'll buy it. I never read it, so why not reading it in English? Maybe it's a challenge. Challenge accepted. Okay. And the movie is very different. There was a scene in which there is not in the movie, in which they have to cross a river. They build a raft, and the scarecrow is using his pole. He does not have legs.
Yeah.
He has his pole. He's using his body to push the raft. He got stuck between two rocks, and they have to abandon him.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
crying there.
Can you imagine that being
I
in the
was
movie?
crying. No, it couldn't be in the movie. Also because the scarecrow in the movie has the legs, so it would be possible.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the movie based on Judy Garland. It's another biographical drama released recently in the US. It's now in the top 10 box office, and it had premiered here in the Rome Film Festival. Judy, directed by Rupert Gould, tells another sad and tragic story. No, don't tell me.
No, you don't say.
No, you don't say. Of the amazing and talented star Judy Garland. Specifically, the last few months of her life. Struggles in that period, and also some flashbacks to her youth and some important points/moments in her life, including when she was about to be casted as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
Which was a really important part in her life. Now, interesting fact of the day, and maybe also the sad fact of the day, is that, as we mentioned earlier, Piaf died at the age of 47, only 47, because of liver cancer, which was caused by alcohol abuse, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Now,
Another one.
yeah. Now, Garland also died the exact same age as Piaf, 47 years old, and the cause of death, barbiturate overdose. And unfortunately, they were both underweight and looked very much older than their true age. This is like, this makes me sad every time that I have to write about these matters and these biographical stories. It's just very, it's very sad.
Stress.
Now, who would have thought that this huge star at some point couldn't even afford a place or even a hotel room? Who would have thought that Hollywood can be so cruel to child actors at a point that even wouldn't let them eat or sleep or even simply be a normal kid? And yes, that's what really happened to Garland when she was first signed contract with the MGM. They wouldn't let her sleep properly, and 8 hours is the normal hour.
Yes, 8 hours is the normal amount of hours of sleep.
She worked about 18 hours a day filming. 18. They gave her pills to just work and not to eat because they told her constantly that she is overweight.
Damn it.
Now, Renée Zellweger shines in the role as Judy Garland, and according to the director, and I was at the press conference, only about 1.5 songs were pre-recorded in the studio, but most of the songs, especially a very important moment that when you see the movie you'll find out, were sang on the set. You will be amazed by how great it will turn out. And Renée Zellweger really is good at singing. Just go watch in Chicago. Now, Rupert Gold does a fine job showcasing stage and backstage struggles, since he himself comes from the world of theater. Now, there are some very spectacular shots, and also the editing is very well done. The movie tries to stay true to both character and audience, and to be perfectly honest, it's a quite accurate movie based on the researches I've done. Until now, this movie has 83% on Rotten Tomatoes and still at the box office. One thing is for sure, and that's this movie will get tons of Oscar noms, especially for Renée Zellweger for the Best Actress. So, for the trash talk, which one do you prefer? The Devil's Violinist or Kiss Me the Phantom of the Park?
Kiss Me the Phantom of the Park.
Sure thing, bro. Sure thing. It's all yours. All yours. Oh. No, the quality sucks.
Sorry, I love this song. Here we are now talking about the trash talk, the movies you will never have the courage to watch.
Yes, but we have the courage.
Yeah, we must have the courage,
yes.
Unfortunately.
So we will bring this segment to you, which is...
So you won't do it.
Yes, so you wouldn't waste your time.
Exactly, you won't waste your time, your corona, your iris, your eyes in general, and your mental stability.
Yes.
Now, the first movie we have to talk about is a bit... What is that?
It's a bit too much trash.
It's a bit too much trash. It is named Kiss Meet the Phantom of the Park. Now, I hadn't watched trailers, anything about this movie, and I said earlier, I figured I pictured the Kiss band in this trash movie, and she said, "Oh, but it is like that." Sorry, what? This is a movie. You don't even need to be a Kiss fan to appreciate this. This quickie TV crash grab from Hanna-Barbera. Yes, you heard it right. It is from Hanna-Barbera, the same who brought Scooby-Doo, Yogi Bear, hey boo boo. And the plot is very basic. In an amusement park somewhere in the USA, they are running out of money, and their only hope is to get back in track, is to organize a series of Kiss concerts. Okay, unfortunately though, the park's architect has another plan. He is planning to conquer the world using his super advanced robots, but first, he needs to create a copy of every Kiss member. So, why? No one knows. But the Kiss aren't regular human beings. They are actually protectors of the planet.
Again, why?
And thanks to their talisman, they use their superpowers to defeat the evil. So in the end, we've got.
Sorry.
Right, we go.
The whole movie. Why? Why does
movie,
it exist? Why is
do
it
you
there?
know? You did know that maybe in return there is now thinking a Scooby-Doo episode featuring the Kiss.
No, I
Yes,
haven't
there
seen
is.
it.
There is. It exists. There is this scene in which the Scooby Gang are following this ghost through a tunnel. I don't know how to call it. And Kiss arrive on this guitar-shaped spaceship, singing.
Wow.
And it's something.
Today's program is truly musical.
Yes, it's really musical. So, in the end, we've got the Kiss who feel awkward all the time on camera, cheap special effects, an audio quality that sometimes reminds me of a Filipino porn, random songs that never ever fit in the mood, and a very atrocious acting. What did I forget? All right, you love it.
You definitely love it. Now let's move on to another trash movie, The Devil's Violinist, coming out in 2015. It's 1830 violin virtuoso and notorious womanizer Niccolo Paganini, played by David Garrett. He's at the peak of his career, acclaimed throughout Europe. His name alone suggests countless affairs and scandals, which is exactly what his manager, Urbani, played by the amazing Jared Harris, is doing his utmost to cultivate, for it is in his interest to market his famous client the best way possible. Now they plan to go to London and having his British debut and so on. You know what's wrong with this movie? It's the
It
fact.
exists. Oh no, sorry.
It's the fact that David Garrett is a great violinist, but he ain't an actor. He's not an actor. And the whole promotion, the whole thing that they approach in the movie is that, ooh, such a sexy guy, this Paganini guy.
He is dark and a damned person. You have to
sexy.
love
Just
him.
go look at the poster, his lips.
He's beautiful
his
and
hair.
damned.
So, that's the reason why it has gone 31% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Good. Oh Christ!
Just look at the poster, please.
Yesterday I saw
Did you
it
see
because.
it? It's like,
Hey.
wait.
Sono bello e dannato. Unfortunately, we are almost at the end of our program. It is 15 o'clock. We have to say goodbye. I think this is the end of today's Outofcast, talking about movies and about musicians, singers, the very famous one. We hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, not all of them has had a tragic life, but as you all know, there are some very common stuff in the lives of these people that makes us sad and feel sorry for them.
I mean, of course, it's not something that it's something that we don't wish to happen to anyone, and I'm pretty sure that there are some ways we can prevent these things that we might not notice while we're doing them. Putting pressure is the most important one, and yes, many times we are the ones who put pressure on the celebrities and push them towards the edge, a very dangerous edge. Of course, I mean, these celebrities are not, they are not robots. They have emotions. They are normal human beings that just because of their job become famous. Being famous is not a job.
No. Sometimes it is even a burden.
Yeah.
A weight.
So we shouldn't put pressure on them. And one of the things that sometimes would put pressure on them, we just run to them and ask for a selfie or an autograph, I wouldn't say it's wrong, but sometimes they don't have time or they are not able to. It doesn't mean that they are rude or cruel to the fan. Of course not. I mean, I just saw yesterday I saw a video and a news that Benedict Cumberbatch, he is in New York right now, he got booed by a fan because he didn't have time to sign an autograph for that. I mean, he is the nicest celebrity in the universe. Why would you boo such a person? And do you think that in what manner would that affect him? I mean, do you think that he's a robot? He's emotionless? This is just an example that I saw in the news. So I think there are also many other reasons. Studios also put pressure on celebrities, but we can the least thing we can do is to start the change from ourselves. So
yes.
This is at least my very personal opinion. I hope you have enjoyed today's Out of Cast. Let's also thank our other writers, Eleonora and Said, and our brilliant director Alessandro.
Now, before we go, we have to remind you where you can find Roma 3 Radio, especially on Facebook by writing Roma 3 Radio with the 3S letters, as well as Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram you can find us by writing Roma 3 Radio with the 3S numbers. You can listen to us on radio.uniroma3.it, where you can listen also of our podcast, or if you wish to listen to our program while walking, you can listen to the TuneIn Radio application by writing Roma 3 Radio.
Again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the flip side.